Welcome, everybody. Thank you for joining us today. We are going to talk about growing your first-time homebuyer business and increasing leads with Down Payment Connect. Some of you already have Down Payment Connect for free through your MLS via our partnership with your MLS. Some of you subscribe to the paid version of Down Payment Connect. We'll show you how to get Down Payment Connect. We'll show you what it is and what it does. But the crux of this is basically to show you how to educate and engage with more aspiring home buyers, and specifically using our Down Payment Connect tool. So let's quickly review the agenda here. As we go, if you have any questions, please use the Zoom Q&A feature. It's a lot easier for us to track questions there than in the chat. The chat gets busy as we go. But if you have questions, put them in the Zoom Q&A, and we'll leave a little time at the end to answer some of those live. I am Sean Moss. We also have with us Melinda Harris and Tracy McIntosh in the background from our down payment resource team, and they will be answering questions as we go. So today's agenda, we'll give you a little bit of information and background on the state of down payment assistance and the impact of these programs. Then we're going to look at our view of the first-time homebuyer market opportunity. And then we're going to talk about educating buyers about down payment requirements and solutions, while looking at how to enhance your marketing and expand your reach, specifically with Down Payment Connect. And we're going to show you how your peers all over the country, real estate agents, loan officers, are using Down Payment Connect, and more specifically, or maybe more broadly, using the topic of down payment assistance to engage and educate aspiring home buyers, generate more business, and create more home purchase opportunities. So a little bit about us. We've been around for about 15 years, and we're based out of Atlanta. We are essentially a national database and a matching engine of all of the more than 2,200 homebuyer assistance programs around the country. That ranges from down payment assistance, closing cost help, to affordable first mortgages, and more. We're going to look at that in just a sec. We also integrate into our partner MLS's property listing data. So those of you who are agents and members of our MLS partners, you have access to all kinds of down payment assistance information from eligible listings when you're looking in the MLS, as well as Down Payment Connect and other tools through those MLS partnerships. We'll show you a list of who those partners are, just so everybody's aware of the benefits they have if they're a member of one of those MLS partners. For those of you who are not a member of one of our MLS partners or are a loan officer, we also have a subscription version of Down Payment Connect that you can use. And today we're going to largely spend most of our time showing you how agents and LOs around the country are using the DPA topic and using the Down Payment Connect tool to be creative and to provide compelling and unique opportunities for home buyers to explore home ownership and start conversations with you. Ultimately, we are here to help you connect home buyers to the down payment help they need. Now, state of DPA. Of all of the more than 2,200, 2,300 programs around the country, 75% of them are down payment or closing cost help. That breaks down into other categories, including deferred DPAs, forgivable DPAs, grants, and then, of course, just your standard repayable DPA. Most programs for down payment assistance, however, are deferred, meaning you get the down payment assistance as a loan, but it doesn't come with immediate repayment. Or maybe it defers payments for the life of the loan and it's repaid when you sell the house. More than half of DPAs are forgivable, meaning it's not a grant at closing, but that down payment assistance loan becomes forgivable at some point in the future. And then there are true grants, which are gifts at closing, no second loan, no second lien, and some DPAs are repayable. Now, we have an entire webinar dedicated to essentially breaking down this slide. So we're not going to focus too much on that today because we want to get into the fun, creative marketing stuff. But we also track and monitor affordable first mortgage products, typically from your state housing finance agency, mortgage credit certificates, which are tax credits, also typically from your state or local housing finance agencies. And there are some other types of programs that are maybe less common or less prevalent, but we track and monitor those as well. So that's sort of the nature or the makeup of down payment assistance, but we do want to be clear these programs are everywhere. There literally is no county or market in the country that is not covered by some, at least minimal type of home buyer assistance. namely because every state has a state housing finance agency, at least one such organization, and their programs are available statewide. So whether your market is high cost, low cost, urban, rural, somewhere in between, there are programs in every market. This map here shows you which states have the most, but every state has a state housing finance agency and a smattering of other programs from local municipalities, nonprofits, housing authorities, and so forth. So there are programs everywhere. And you'll see when we show the list of MLS partners, many of them cover very high cost markets, but yes, there are still DPAs in those markets. So what's going on with down payment assistance specifically? Demand for down payment assistance is through the roof. Consumers are learning more and more about these programs, although, as we'll look at in a moment, there's still a lot of work to do in terms of consumer education. But we also see down payment assistance providers continuing to enhance their programs with higher assistance amounts, increased income limits, increased purchase price limits, all of which is designed to help keep up with rising prices and keep the door open to more buyers, the door to home ownership, that is, and specifically down payment help. We are also seeing more and more programs hit the market. I'll cover that next. But overall, 84% of programs are currently funded and active, and that is a normal number. There are some seasonal programs out there, but that number has been very consistent for years. But there are plenty of programs, for example, from your state. Most of the state housing finance agencies programs are basically perpetually funded. All of this is to say down payment assistance is still available and not going away. And in fact, as you all are probably well aware, there's more and more attention on down payment assistance at the local level and even at the federal level. So DPAs are on the rise. I just mentioned we're seeing more and more programs. For several quarters in a row now, we have seen an increase in the number of homebuyer assistance programs hitting the market. More municipalities, state agencies, nonprofits are creating homebuyer assistance programs to try to shore up the gap between down payment requirements and available down payment money. So we expect that will continue. We take a snapshot of this every quarter. We've just done the data and we'll have another index coming out shortly for Q2 2023. But more and more programs are hitting the market, guys. There's a ton of opportunity out there in every one of your markets. Now, let's think about the renter's mindset. They're saving for a home. We know that among millennials and now even the next generation of potential home buyers, homeownership aspirations are high. They want to stop renting. They want to start building that generational wealth. They want to tap into the benefits of homeownership, but they doubt they qualify. They don't know if they have enough saved. And quite frankly, many of them don't understand true down payment requirements or the fact that down payment assistance programs are available. And we know that first-time buyers need help navigating the home buying process, getting pre-approved for a home loan, and just understanding their mortgage options. But for down payment assistance, they also typically have to complete a home buyer education class, which we think is great because it better prepares them for the home buying journey, but also home ownership long-term. We also know that a lot of new buyers need help covering down payment and closing costs and ultimately navigating a very competitive market with very limited inventory. So putting all that together and combining that with a few misperceptions or gaps in knowledge among potential home buyers, there's a lot of opportunity for us to educate and engage and start conversations, which is what we're going to get into in a moment. But to finally set the stage here, these are the results of a survey that we participated in, but it was really a study by the Urban Institute about barriers to accessing home ownership. Now, this study is a few years old at this point, but we think this is still very timely and relevant. So these are the responses to 3 questions asked of potential home buyers. Those were millennial renters at the time. When asked what their biggest barrier to home ownership was, no surprise, more than 2/3 of them, 68%, said the down payment was their barrier to home ownership. When asked how much they needed as a down payment in order to buy a home, 65%, almost 2/3 again, thought they had to have 15% or 20% or more as a down payment just to consider buying a home. Now, we all know that that's not true because you can get an FHA loan with 3.5% down. You can get conventional loans with 3% down, 5% down. You can get, if you're a qualified veteran or if you're buying a qualified rural property, you can do a VA loan or a USDA loan with 0 down. That's not the issue. The issue is the consumer doesn't know that. So to that point, The third result of that survey I want to share with you is at the bottom on the left. When those millennial renters, those aspiring home buyers, were asked if they were familiar with low down payment mortgage programs, 76%, more than 3/4 of them, were not familiar with FHA loans, Fannie and Freddie loans, VA, and so forth, right? So that means they think they need way more down than they do. They don't know that there are low down payment mortgage options, yet the down payment is one of the biggest barriers to home ownership. All of this clearly tells us, and we see this played out in story after story, from all manner of news outlets in the mortgage industry, in the real estate industry, and quite frankly, just elsewhere. But the obvious story here is consumers need to know what the real down payment requirements are and that there are solutions out there. So we know that home buyers need help. We know that real estate agents need loan officers who can do DPA, and we know that loan officers need purchase apps. So time to hop on the DPA bandwagon. Let's take a look at how we can connect consumers to down payment assistance help, while also at the same time educating them about true down payment assistance requirements. Down payment requirements. So first of all, first way to connect consumers, check out the button here, or the graphic, which is what down payment resource looks like inside your MLS if you are a member of one of our MLS partners. I'm going to show that list next, but this $ with the check mark, that's what you're looking for inside your MLS if you're an agent and a member of one of these MLSs. That $ is your indicator when you're looking at list view or agent detail view, whether you're on Matrix, Paragon, Flex, Dyna, whatever system you're on. Look for that $, and often it says down payment assistance or something like that next to it inside your MLS on agent listing reports, as well as the client side when you're sending listings to one of your clients. If you are a member of one of these MLSs, now I do have to make the caveat here that California Association of Realtors, NYSAR, and Kansas City Association, those are not MLSs. They're associations that have a different relationship with us. But if you're a member of any of these MLSs, you have down payment resource fully integrated for free as a member benefit inside your MLS, which includes flagging eligible listings and showing you with one click on that button that looks like this, showing you which DPA programs are available to buyers interested at that property, at that price, at that location, at that time. And we track and monitor these programs as they evolve to make sure that those results are accurate. Now, you also have other benefits like Down Payment Connect for free if you're a member of one of these MLSs. So just very quickly, CRMLS in Southern California, Stellar in Central Florida, Real MLS in Jacksonville, Florida, MLS PIN up in Massachusetts, One Key in New York, HAR in Houston, FMLS in Atlanta, Central Virginia in Richmond, North Star in the Twin Cities, Spokane Association in Washington, Northwest MLS in Washington, Real Comp in Michigan, Greater Lansing in Michigan, MyBor in Indianapolis, Austin in Texas, Birmingham, and San Antonio. If you're a member of one of those MLSs, you have down payment resource fully integrated into your MLS as a member benefit for free, no upsell, no freemium. So how do you get to it? This is just a couple of screenshots. I realize everybody's dashboard looks different and I can't roll through dozens of them, but go to your MLS dashboard, look for the link to down payment resource on your MLS dashboard, and that opens up Down Payment Connect, which is a standalone lead generation tool where you each have your own unique URL, and that landing page, which is waiting for you on your DPR dashboard, is what you can send out to consumers, and that is the crux of the rest of this webinar. What are your peers around the country doing with that Down Payment Connect landing page? How are they presenting it to consumers? Are they building content around it? What are they doing on social media, email marketing, on their websites, on their blogs, and so forth? We're going to start to look at all that now. But just to make sure everybody understands how to get to that, again, go to your MLS dashboard, look for the down payment resource link. And of course, that's a member if you're a member of one of our MLS partners. Once you click the link to down payment resource, you'll be on your DPR or down payment resource dashboard. The very first thing waiting for you there at the top of the page, circled in red here, is your unique Down Payment Connect URL. Now, the one on the screen here is just my little test, demo account. Don't use that link. It won't do anything for you. Yours is waiting for you there. It will end with your first name underscore last name, so you know it's unique to you. There are also marketing resources that includes graphics, customizable flyers, video tutorials, a social media training module for how to use Down Payment Connect on social media. And there's more as well. So feel free to click on that marketing resources link and you can access some of those resources and utilize those. You'll see a bunch of those graphics as we go. Now, if you are not a member of one of our MLS partners, you can subscribe to Down Payment Connect at downpaymentresource.com/DPC. Again, the URL is here on the page. If you're a member of one of our MLS partners, please don't subscribe. You already have it for free as part of our partnership with your MLS. I showed you that list earlier. We'll show you the MLS partner list again at the end. But maybe we can put this URL in chat, but downpaymentresource.com/DPC for those of you who would like to get Down Payment Connect and don't have it through your MLS. Agents and loan officers, when you're subscribing, you get your own personalized landing page that consumers can use to search for down payment programs in their market where they want to buy a home. No limit to the leads and traffic you can generate to the page. It's a fixed monthly cost, $24 for agents, $39 for the loan officer version. You also get access to those same marketing resources and social media training. Loan officers, yours is a little more expensive, but part of that is because you get a detailed directory of all programs in your subscribed states, and you get the ability to customize which programs display to consumers or to your potential borrowers so that you can be in line with your company's product offerings. And you also have a back office tool to do your own eligibility searches and compare programs. So again, downpaymentresource.com/DPC. Everyone gets their lead gen page. And what we want to do now is show you how consumers are accessing this, and specifically how your peers are leveraging down payment assistance and how they are using Down Payment Connect to engage with consumers, to educate them about down payment requirements and solutions, and to give them a path to homeownership by enabling them to search for down payment help where they want to buy a home. So the landing page is basically a search. They tell you where they want to buy a home. They can enter anything else like income, military service, profession, household size, home ownership history, kinds of things that might impact their eligibility for down payment assistance. But ultimately, they fill out a contact form that delivers a lead to you via email, whether you have the free MLS version or you're a paid subscriber. So you get the leads emailed. And what we want to do now is show you how your peers are using that tool to get it out in front of consumers and to put down payment requirements and down payment solutions out there in front of aspiring home buyers. So this is the fun marketing part. This is the part that I love. Let's just roll through. These are examples of how agents and loan officers all over the country are integrating or implementing or embedding down payment assistance information and their Down Payment Connect links into their various marketing platforms. So I'll start here with Brian. Brian is an agent in Atlanta, and this is a screenshot of his homepage, his website homepage. You can see at the bottom, there's a couple sentences about down payment assistance with a click here call to action. There's also a button from our graphic package on the left. Down payment money is available. See if you're eligible. He's presenting a little bit of information about DPAs and giving the consumer the opportunity to use his Down Payment Connect page to search for help and connect with him. Susan here embedded the Down Payment Connect form into a page on her website. So the consumer never actually leaves her website. They're just using the form in an iframe. She embedded the DP Down Payment Connect search experience into an iframe on one of her pages, and the consumer just does the search right there. Here's another example of kind of two things. One, in the top navigation, you can see on Angela's site here that she's added a website navigation button that just says Down Payment Assistance. And that leads to another page on her site where she has also just embedded the Down Payment Connect form into that page. So there's no other content on the page, right? Just the website navigation. And then she just loaded the Down Payment Connect form within that page. Super simple. super, creative, in line with the rest of her website format, and it offers access to that search in the site navigation. We'll see other examples of that as we go here. And by the way, I'm starting with screenshots, but we're actually going to look at some of these live, because in some of these examples, there's actually more to show than what I can capture in a single screenshot. But I'll roll through these first, and then we'll hit the web and we'll look at some of these live. Email signature. So this is Sal, loan officer, California. In his email signature, he has things that you would expect from a loan officer: link to the site, apply now, contact info, load your docs if you're a current customer. But at the bottom of his email signature, he added a link to his Down Payment Connect page. That down payment money is available, see if you're eligible button with that $sign with the check mark. That's what we looked at earlier. Part of our graphics package, you have a bunch of graphics like this that are available to you. But any email he sends with that in his signature, the recipient can see that down payment help is out there, that Sal can help them with that, and they can open up the tool, start their search for down payment help, and connect with Sal to continue that conversation. You could also do this in your email marketing, in the content of an email campaign, for example. We'll see some related examples, but consider adding this to an email campaign. If you've got a 5-part series or a new customer intake campaign or something like that, feel free to add it there too. Educational video. This is actually, we're going to look at this live in a few minutes, but this is a team in Richmond, Virginia. They have created a page on their website dedicated to educating site visitors about down payment assistance programs. There's actually a lot of really cool content, but they started with a video they created that talks a little bit about down payment assistance, and then they can continue down the page and read more, or read more as they listen to the video. And there are multiple access points to get them into Down Payment Connect. So we'll look at that live too, but super cool idea. Provide an educational page on your site. It could be a great landing page for marketing and educational campaigns. This is from Raul, a broker in Austin, Texas. He created a home buyer checklist for new clients. Step 1, find out what you can afford, including having a conversation about cash to close and where it's going to come from. Step 2, get pre-approved. And then step 3, come back, let's find a home within your budget. So think about your new client intake process. What homework do your new clients get? What takeaways do you give them? This was Raul's solution to new client intake, to make sure that they were thinking about financing, understanding down payment requirements, and aware of down payment solutions as they started that home ownership journey. So what are you giving new clients, and are you considering, or are you discussing financing and down payment requirements and down payment solutions with them? This is Raul from Austin, same guy. So on Facebook, when he first started out in real estate, after serving in the military, he was working with a lot of veterans and found that he was getting a lot of the same questions over and over. So he created a 10-part drip campaign that he did on social, but it could easily be an email campaign too. But he asked and answered a lot of those questions he kept getting, so that others would know as they started off working with him the answers to some of those common questions. One of that 10-part sort of FAQ series was, when researching home loans, what is the best approach to look for down payment and closing cost help? So he offers content and a link to Down Payment Connect, and they're off to the races, understanding financing requirements. Great idea, social engagement. And let's stick with social media here for a minute. This one is one of my favorites. Loan officers, if you're on, for those of you who are loan officers on the call, how are you marketing or co-marketing or partnering on marketing with your real estate agent partners? And agents, do you have loan officers that you know to be good or savvy and successful with down payment assistance programs? The reason I love this is sort of for several reasons. One, this is an agent team in the Twin Cities and their mortgage partner. You can see that across the kind of blue banner over the picture at the top. It's the agent team and their mortgage partner telling the story on social media about a client they just helped get down payment assistance to get into their first home. Now, I've cut off the pictures here, but they got permission to use names, dollar amounts, and pictures. They got this buyer $12,000 to get in down payment and closing cost assistance to get into their first home. They're telling that story together, the agent and the LO, or the agent team and the mortgage team. and they're showing aspiring home buyers what they were able to accomplish for another recent aspiring home buyer who's now a homeowner. They're telling the consumer peers what they just did for one of their own consumer peers. I love that. I think it's a great idea. You know, you get storytelling, you get a compelling, heartfelt story. You can put numbers on it, and it's a great way for agents and LOs to co-market together. So think about that. If you've recently closed a down payment assistance program, I'm going to pause here, put it in the chat. If you recently closed a transaction, let's say this year, if you've closed a transaction this year where a down payment assistance program was utilized, then let us know in the chat. You've got our director of marketing in the background. She would love to turn that into a blog post, an article, maybe get some PR, work with your MLS, do something with it, right? But also to help educate others that yes, it's possible. Jane, I see you chimed in. Tell us the story. Joseph, you chimed in. You have too. Tell us the story. Cynthia, I see it looks like you said MHFA, DPA. Let us know where you are. Heather, you're a lender. You closed a few with THDA in Tennessee. Kelly, okay, here they come. Kelly, I just closed a THDA loan in Tennessee. Yeah, guys, give us more detail. In fact, Mel, maybe throw the email address info in the chat. Jane, Joseph, Heather, Kelly, who else? Cynthia, you've already chimed in. We want to know that story. We want to tell that story. And we want to, in part, we want to combat misperceptions about these programs. You guys got it done. But there are others out there. Heather, I see you chimed in too. Joe, yes, awesome. Hometown Heroes is great in Florida. And Mel, so Mel just sent you our email address. Send that story to info@downpaymentresource.com. We want to hear from you. We want to know that story. We want to help dispel concerns and myths and misperceptions among other agents and loan officers out there that think they are too hard to do, or DPAs are going to delay the transaction or whatever. You guys did it. So let's see. Kelly's asking for the link again. If we can put the info in the chat again. Let's see. So let me get back to this. So Facebook videos. This is actually that same team in the Twin Cities that we just looked at. Look at the timestamps on these videos. They're all a minute. Look at the location of these videos. The kitchen, a hallway, the corner of a room. 1-minute videos asking and answering simple, basic questions to us, but they're not simple and basic to a first-time home buyer. So the point of this is to illustrate that video doesn't have to be Hollywood production, right? Just ask and answer a question, get the education out there, leverage that for a campaign, drip marketing campaign, and so forth. But also, you're getting your personality out there and introducing yourself to prospective buyers while educating them. Now, here's another example of a page that we're actually going to look at live, but it's got a lot of educational content, plus they embedded the Down Payment Connect search experience into the page. And that's in Seattle. This one is in Indianapolis. This is an agent who was using Down Payment Connect as a hook in Facebook ads. Now, we're not here to say that you need to go run ads or spend the money on ads or whatever, but you can, or you can boost a post. But point is, look at the copy. Many first-time home buyers qualify for down payment money. See if you qualify, and let's get shopping for your new home. That's it, 2 sentences. And Marilyn found that she figured out how to maximize her Down Payment Connect landing page. She gets good leads, they are responding, and they are interested. So again, keep it simple, right? That was 2 sentences. Here's another example. This is Instagram. This is Bo in Florida. Just a couple of sentences, 3-4 sentences here. But I love the copy. See if you qualify for down payment help. Stop second guessing yourself and don't leave money on the table. I love that. What a great message to an aspiring home buyer who just needs to know that there's a little down payment help out there. Don't leave those opportunities on the table. And as agents and loan officers, don't leave those opportunities on the table. That's a purchase opportunity that's going to generate referral business as well. Sticking with Instagram, John in California. Look at his copy. Are you looking to buy a home but worried you don't have the down payment saved up? With our tool, you can search for DPAs, run a search of your own, see how easy it is to own a home. Super cool, right? So those are some examples of what your peers around the country are doing to engage with and educate aspiring home buyers and put DPA information in front of them. But as I mentioned, I want to show you some of these live. So I'm going to hop in my browser here and let's go through a few more examples so you can see, we can sort of interact and see a little bit more. So here we have a team in Florida. Now, all they did was under the buy menu, they added a link to down payment assistance right up here. That's it. They just added it to their site navigation. And here's where I'm going to show you how this tool works. So I'm going to click on that. And that's going to take me to Brandy's Down Payment Connect page. Anything I do from here goes to Brandy and only Brandy. Same for you when you're using your page. Now, let's just say that I know where I want to buy, but I don't want to enter anything else. I can, but let's just go with location. That can be an address and zip code. It will map the address, or maybe they don't know because they're earlier on and they just want to enter a city and a county. That's fine. Let's go with Tampa, right? We can add price. And if they do, let's say 350 in Tampa, does that exceed any purchase price limits for some programs? It does, but there's still plenty left, right? Or we take that out. How many people are in the house? 3. What's the income? Let's say 87,000. Does that exceed income limits? It does not. What if we went up to 112,000? Now we've started to exceed income limits. So we account for all that stuff. Maybe there's more programs if somebody served in the military, more programs. We're in Florida, so if I say teacher, I'm going to get that extra Hometown Heroes program. But the consumer doesn't see those 18 programs. The point of Down Payment Connect is quite literally to connect that consumer to you. So I click the See My Results button, and I know there's 18 programs. Now I know I can get up to $40,000 in down payment help, but I need to fill out this form and submit it, and that's where the lead goes to you. We're going to email you the lead with the information from this form and the location where the buyer was searching. The leads do not go to anybody else. They're not sold off in a carousel. They're yours. They're exclusive to you, whether you have Down Payment Connect through your MLS or you are subscribing to the tool. So that's the consumer experience. Now let's look at a few more examples of how agents and loan officers are getting that experience out to the consumer. So here we have a team in Sacramento. Top navigation on their website, down payment tool. Guess where that takes me? Their down payment assistance or down payment connect page. Anything I do here goes to Keisha. Here we have a brokerage, mortgage brokerage, that under loan options has a page for down payment assistance. That's the page I'm on. Now, if I scroll down, there's a couple of sentences here. There's DPA out there, get the money while it's there, see if there's actually 2 links here to click into their Down Payment Connect page. Now, I'm not going to keep clicking those links. You get where it goes now, but that's a link to Down Payment Connect. That's a link to Down Payment Connect. Super simple page, right? They just added one more page with a little bit of info about down payment assistance and a couple different places to link to the Down Payment Connect DPA search and then connect to you. Here's a team in Oklahoma City. This is the whole page. This is it. So basically, it's just a little splash page. This could be great for, social media ads, driving to this page, give them a couple sentences, good call to action, down payment programs are available. Click the link below, answer a few questions, discover programs, buy a home sooner. Love it, super simple. And they said it all in one sentence. And then there's the button, Down Payment Connect. Rashana in the DMV, DC, Maryland, Virginia area, capital area. She's got a few tiles on her homepage. Here, I'll scroll up. So homepage, right? We go down below the search and she lists out a few services, one of which is down payment assistance. I click on that and I go to her Down Payment Connect page. Richmond, Virginia. I showed you a screenshot of the top of this page. This is on their site under Guide to Buying a Home. They're very first-time home buyer focused here. Down payment assistance. They've got their video. They produced that. We actually have some video content you can use as well, but they made a really good video. And below that, this is why I wanted to show you this page live. They have tons of educational content here. They go on paragraph after paragraph, and you see, here's a link to Down Payment Connect, this graphic. Here's another one in the text. If I scroll down and I'm reading more, here's another graphic, also a link to Down Payment Connect. So 3 times on this page, they offer a link to Down Payment Connect, and they're talking about DPAs and educating buyers about price, location, profession, home ownership history, how all these things play into down payment assistance availability, or eligibility. Great page. We love it. Great educational content. Here's another example from a team in Seattle under Advice for Buyers, Down Payment Assistance. They also built the page with educational content. So we've got several paragraphs of content here about down payment assistance. And in this case, they embedded the Down Payment Connect search form at the bottom of that page. So while I'm reading, I can just go right into the form, and Gerhard and his team are going to contact me when I submit the form. Then we have an example of a blog. So in fact, I've got another one after this too, but do you have a blog? If you are, you're constantly looking for content, trying to stay fresh, keep it relevant and so forth. Talk about DPAs. There are so many different things you could talk about just with down payment assistance, and really engage with aspiring buyers, first-time home buyers, and give them compelling reasons to start conversations with you. That's kind of the first thing we're trying to do here, is just start more conversations with more aspiring buyers. But here's the blog post: get down payment assistance help. Got a few graphics in here. These come from our graphics package. This graphic here is a link to their Down Payment Connect page. Then we've got some educational content. I'm not going to read it all, but down payment money's out there. Let's find it. What is down payment assistance? They used one of our videos for home buyers. And then I love this. Next step, click the button below, enter your household info, get your results, call me. That's it. That's what we want them to do, right? They laid out the process, and then this big button is access to their Down Payment Connect page. This is sort of another blog post, but an interesting page. You can see at the top, down payment assistance. They've created a page. This is a loan officer dedicated to down payment assistance, but they took a bit of a unique approach. You can see the graphic here. That's a link to Down Payment Connect. They've got a little bit of introductory content, and then they have like an FAQ style presentation. So they ask a question, then they answer it. Ask another question, here's the answer. Pose another question, here's the answer, and so forth down the page. And then, of course, it must end again with a call to action. Down payment money's out there. Let's see if you're eligible. Click the button, do your search. Love it. Great post, great content, and you know, kind of a unique FAQ style approach. Now, I'll give you two more examples from Facebook. We've seen a few already from Facebook and Instagram. Here's a super simple post. Down payment money is out there. Let's find it. Use my Down Payment Connect page. Here's the link. That's it. Shayna's in Detroit. Great post. Love it. Super simple. Doesn't need to be complicated. You don't have to write an ebook. Just give them a compelling message and your link, and let them do the search. And then lastly, this is an agent who created a video. It's actually quite a long video, but an educational video talking about down payment assistance, the difference it can make, and so forth. And again, with video, great way to get your face out there, to introduce yourself to aspiring buyers, while also educating them about down payment requirements, first-time home buyer nuances, and down payment assistance availability. So back to the deck here, we gave you tons of examples of how your peers around the country are talking about down payment assistance and offering Down Payment Connect in order to engage with buyers. So without going through the whole list, email signature, email marketing campaigns, social media, content on your website, blog, video, drip campaigns, new customer intake processes. Think about where you can inject down payment assistance and where you can offer Down Payment Connect to create a compelling message that's going to bring those conversations to you from more buyers. And of course, leverage the experts. Partner with participating lenders that you know to be good at down payment assistance that meet essentially 3 criteria. So loan officers on the call, do you meet these 3 criteria? And are agents calling on you? But essentially, agents, you want loan officers who offer down payment assistance, who are good at down payment assistance, and who want your DPA buyers. They want that business from you. Also, agents and loan officers, connect with the DPA providers, whether it's your state housing finance agency or a local nonprofit or whomever. Connect with the DPA providers. Ask about their training opportunities, their networking opportunities, classes you can take, classes you can teach. Also, in your marketing, Talk about local DPA programs in your marketing content. Talk about the benefits of the programs and where they're available. And then lastly, we would encourage you at some point, your buyers that are using down payment assistance are going to have to take a home buyer education course most of the time. That's typically 6 to 8 hours of coursework. There are online options for most programs these days, so you don't have to wait around for a Saturday class or something like that. But maybe attend some, part of or all the course or whatever with a client. Get to know the content that's being taught in those classes, and maybe you can leverage some of those the content or some of those ideas in your own marketing outreach. And also, we have a Down Payment Insiders Facebook group. I'm seeing some sort of networking going on in the chat. In this Down Payment Insiders Facebook group, there's actually now over 11,000 down payment insiders here. The URL is on the page. Maybe we can put this in the chat as well. But this is over 11,000 agents and loan officers, with also some DPA providers, maybe some counselors that are in there as well. But they are sharing stories and best practices and challenges and successes, all about working with DPAs, working with first-time home buyers. And there is a lot of networking and connections being made within this group, especially between agents and loan officers, where agents are looking for LOs in their market who meet those 3 criteria I just mentioned. They offer DPA, they're good at DPA, and they want that business from you. So we encourage you to join the Down Payment Insiders network, listen in, teach, share, whatever works for you. But we encourage you to join that group as well. So here again is a list of our MLS partners. Now, I rattled them off earlier. I'm going to leave this on the screen for just a moment. If you are a member of one of these MLSs, you have Down Payment Connect for free. You also have Down Payment Resource fully integrated into your MLS system on agent and client listing reports. So when you see that little $sign button that we've been seeing throughout the way here on a listing, it means it's eligible for help, and you can click it and see what help is out there. So if you're a member of one of these MLS partners, then you have Down Payment Connect for free. Now, if you're a member of the Kansas City Association, California Association, or NYSAR in New York, those are different relationships. Those are not MLSs. But for the other MLSs on here, you've got the full DPR suite for free through our partnership with your MLS. I'll leave you with 2 case studies here, and I'll go through these quickly. But Amber at the top, she was a new agent in Florida and found that a lot of her peers were her clients, but they didn't have a lot of information about down payment requirements and certainly didn't know about down payment assistance programs. So she took it upon herself to learn about the programs and to partner up with local loan officers who also knew these programs well. And she's built her business, especially helping first-time home buyers, doing a lot of DPA. Raul, we saw at the bottom here, we saw a couple examples of his work, the Facebook drip campaign and the new client intake form. He thought working with veterans in particular, there had to be a better way. He was looking for ways to round out the process and make it more efficient. Down Payment Connect was a big part of that, but more specifically, down payment assistance became a big part of that. Agents and loan officers, leverage Down Payment Connect. Whether you have it for free or subscribe, it's super affordable. You're not going to break the bank. If you are subscribing, it's pay as you go month to month. You're not signing a contract. So if it doesn't work, cancel. But leverage Down Payment Connect. Again, you can subscribe at downpaymentresource.com/DPC if you do not already have it for free through your MLS. But I hope this has been helpful. I'm going to put our contact information up here. And as always, we have a lot of questions. We have a big audience, so we wanted to leave time for Q&A. Mel, Tracy, I'll cue that up in a sec, but I want to just reiterate to everybody, you saw a ton of examples of how your peers all over the country are creatively and successfully using Down Payment Connect, talking about down payment assistance. And these examples bubbled up because they get traffic and they convert leads. So that's why we're showing you the ones we're showing you, because they look good, they're creative, they're successful, and that's how they got to the list today. So take those examples, run with them, make them your own, swipe and adapt, and so on and so forth. But we hope that was helpful. So now let's get into some questions. Mel, any themes, any recurring questions we need to address first?
As always, I'll just remind everyone that we are sending out the recording and the slides most likely tomorrow. We've had a lot of requests for that. Everybody loving the information and wanting to review it. So we will send out the recording and the slides tomorrow to everyone that registered. And then I can't say I've had any themes, Sean. We've had some great questions, but Penny just kind of left a comment in Q&A that I thought was important. And I thought maybe if you wouldn't mind speaking to that. Basically, she's asking if she signs up for Down Payment Connect and get these leads, what she's supposed to do with them. She's thinking this is the loan officer's job to introduce a buyer to those programs. And I know we get that a lot. And I just thought that it might be kind of good to speak on that.
Yeah, that's a great point. So agents, yeah, it's the loan officer's job to, set up the financing, get the mortgage in order, explore cash to close and where that's going to come from, and look at down payment assistance. You're right. But what we're enabling with Down Payment Connect is for you. Think about this. This is probably the best answer. Where do most aspiring home buyers go first? I mean, let's face it, they go search for properties and probably call a real estate agent first, right? Now, whether or not that's the best order of operations, that sort of doesn't matter because that's what happens. So agents, this is an opportunity for you to get a message out in front of aspiring home buyers that might compel them to dialogue because they've learned that, oh, wait, maybe homeownership is within reach. And then you start that conversation. You've got the new client. Yes, you need to help them get financing, which is why you need to partner up with lenders who are good at these DPA programs. And I'm seeing the networking going on in chat. And again, I encourage you guys to join Down Payment Insiders. There's a lot more of that going on there as well. But I think that's the real answer is, agents, this is an opportunity to reach people that maybe are income and credit qualified, but they just have these down payment misperceptions. And if you're the one getting the message out there that there is a path to home ownership, that's your buyer. They're going to come to you. They're going to stick with you because you put something out there that nobody else was telling them. So I think that's probably the best answer to that question. What else, Mel or Tracy? Anything else?
Hey, Sean. I've answered several questions about homebuyer education classes, where to go to find them, and will an individual homebuyer education class cover all down payment assistance programs, or do they need to do one for every program and so on? So I've touched on that with a few people individually, but I thought it might be something good for you to cover as well, since it's been asked so much in so many ways.
Yeah, good point. And there's really a couple things buried in there. As far as which homebuyer education class your client needs to take, that does depend on the program. Not every program uses the same homebuyer education class to meet that requirement. So it is important to determine which down payment assistance program you think you're most likely to use and take the class required by that one. Now, there can be a lot of crossover, right? But that's important. As far as how to find the class, there's a number of ways. If you get a lead from Down Payment Connect, then you in the lead are going to have links to details of each program that consumer found in their search. In those details, the first two things we show you when you open up a lead or you open up a program in a lead is who are the participating lenders and how do you meet the homebuyer education requirement. So that's one way. If you're a member of one of our MLS partners, then you can click the down payment button in your MLS on any eligible listing, and that opens up all the programs available for that property. And then again, there's a learn more button. You open it up for any program, and there as well, the first two things we show you are who are the participating lenders and how do I meet the homebuyer education requirement? Where do I go to take the class? Is there an online option? So on and so forth. So those are the easy ways. And then, of course, you can always reach out to the program providers too. The homebuyer education class is something that the client has to take. But a lot of these DPA providers, especially like your state housing finance agencies, they've got classes for you. They've got opportunities for you to learn, to listen, to network, to grow. So I would encourage you to explore those as well. But Tracy, I think that pretty much covers the homebuyer ed piece. What else? We got a few more minutes here for Q&A.
I have another one, Sean, and we get obviously the how to find a loan officer question a lot. You've mentioned the Facebook group is a great way to network, and it is. But something I've answered quite a few times today is whether or not how to determine if the lenders they're currently working with offer DPA, which lenders are available to work with these programs, et cetera. So just kind of some general questions about, if you want to talk a little bit more about kind of where to start that process, if they are already working with a loan officer, the participating lender process, et cetera.
Yeah. So there are several ways to find loan officers that can help. And I'm in no particular order, well, maybe sort of in order. The first thing I would say is talk to your existing loan officer partners. If you're an agent, talk to the loan officers you already work with. They may well have access to down payment assistance programs, and maybe it just never came up with you, or you never had a borrower that needed it, or whatever the case might be. But talk to them. Also, ask your broker, ask your peers. See if they've got loan officers they work with or have worked with recently that they know did a good job with the DPA program or offered a couple of good DPAs, and see what they have. See if they've got any referrals. Additionally, use Down Payment Resource. If you're using Down Payment Connect and you get a lead, again, click the lead or click a program in the lead. And the first two things we show you are who are the participating lenders as published by the program provider, and how do you meet the home buyer education requirement. If you are a member of one of our MLS partners, click the down payment button on any eligible listing inside your MLS, click on a program, and the first thing we show you is who are the participating lenders. Also, call on the program provider. Ask them, hey, who's a good loan officer in my part of the market that does good volume and does a good job with DPAs? I need an LO partner. I've got clients ready to use DPA, but I need a loan officer to partner with. Ask the program provider, right? They'll help you as well. And lastly, as we've started to see in the chat, there's some networking going on here, agents and LOs connecting. When we get off the webinar, we can't, chat transcripts don't really print well or anything, so we can't provide the chat transcript. Grab what you need out of there now. But when this webinar turns off, go to Down Payment Insiders. Go to that Facebook group on chat. Maybe let's throw the link in chat one more time. Go to the Facebook Insiders group, join the group, and start your networking there. And then you'll have access to all the loan officers, the 11,000 plus people that are in that Down Payment Insiders group. And you may get a referral from other agents too that are, that know a loan officer that offers DPA. So there's a bunch of different ways to connect with loan officers. All of them work well in no particular order. Let's see. I want to go back to one thing real quick, and then Mel Tracy, if you've got any other questions to queue up. Let's see. When we asked about those of you who had closed a down payment assistance loan recently, I'm trying to find this in the chat. Here we go. The sellers, so I did not really do the DPA side, but I did experience the transaction. Jane, that's an interesting story. From the seller's perspective, or representing the seller, from that perspective, you were involved in a DPA transaction. There are all manner of misperceptions from that perspective that we deal with all the time. We would love to know that story. How did that transaction go? How did your seller react to the offer when it came in, and did it include evidence of a DPA, or what did that look like? So that's a story worth telling. If you're representing a seller, we'll have loan officers who do DPA. They'll tell us all the time, look, if I qualified a buyer, it doesn't matter if they put 20% down or they're using a DPA. They're a qualified buyer. My underwriter approved them, and they'll close in the same amount of time as any other transaction. We hear that day in, day out, all over the country from loan officers who are savvy with DPA. But what I'm getting at here is, if you've closed something recently, so here we go. Cynthia, you mentioned MHFA. Jane, you did. Joseph, you said you had closed something recently. Heather, you're a lender. You closed with THDA in Tennessee. Kelly, THDA in Tennessee. Heather, VA through THDA. I saw somebody ask, why would you need a DPA on a VA loan? There's still closing costs, and that can be thousands of dollars. So that still has to be covered. And if you find a program that you can use for closing costs, why not? Also, thank you, veteran, for serving. Here's a DPA. Now you have equity going into the home. There's two good reasons. Joe, Florida Hometown Heroes. We'd love to do that. You did it with a medical technician. Love that. Want to hear that story. So guys, send those stories to info@downpaymentresource.com. We want to tell your story. We want to get you some PR. We want to get you some attention, and maybe you can leverage that as something that you can use in your marketing. Hey, here's what I remember the storytelling example, right? Here's what I did for one of your peer consumers. Here's what I can do for you. Come talk to me. That's what we want to do here. We want to get more aspiring buyers to come talk to us and get over some of the misperceptions that they have about down payment requirements and so forth. So, Lorraine, you're using a DPA on a VA loan right now. Love it. Tell us the story. We want to know how that plays out. Did they close? What were the benefits as the veteran saw it of getting that down payment assistance? Did it help with closing costs? Did it help present a more competitive or compelling offer to the seller because they're not asking for closing costs? Anyway, you can tell we're passionate about this. We love it. Let's see. I'm going to answer a few questions in the Q&A, and then we're going to have to go here to be mindful of everybody's time. Let's see. Claverne asks, the process in general, how long does it take from start to finish? A good loan officer will tell you, I'm going to close a DPA transaction in the same amount of time as any other. There are a small few programs out there that might have like a second review process from the DPA provider. You may need a couple extra days for something like that. But in general, these DPA providers go to great lengths to ensure that they're not going to delay the transaction. Let's see, what's required for somebody to apply? Essentially the same things that they need to apply for a mortgage. You're essentially replicating the mortgage application for the DPA. Does a buyer need a social security card, license, EIN number? ID, yes, for a mortgage, of course, and certainly for the DPA. If that's a citizenship question, that's going to vary by program in terms of allowable citizenship statuses. Last one here, Dusky asks, when creating DPA marketing material, do we need to make sure our brokerage's company name is on the material? I would ask your broker. That's probably a question for them rather than us. If you're a loan officer, same thing. I would ask your marketing and product teams what the marketing obligations and allowances are. But to the extent that you can, yeah, absolutely. Talk about your local DPAs. So we're coming up on the hour. I hope this was helpful. One more time, our contact information is info@downpaymentresource.com. If you have any questions after the webinar, we will send out the recording. Give us till tomorrow to process everything and get that back out to you. Join Down Payment Insiders. If you don't already have Down Payment Connect through your MLS, subscribe at downpaymentresource.com/DPC. Thank you, Mel. Thank you, Tracy. Thank you, everybody, for joining today. Have a wonderful day.